All she wanna do is turn up and get high. Yeah, I put the word up and she mine. I'm fresh when I step in, I'm walking in bed and she seen that. I double my cup when I sip, it's no X, it's a green flag. I fuck with my playboys, I'm out in LA with a mean bag. She texting my phone, I didn't see it. I'm coming wherever you need me, yeah. Shorty been saying she love me, but I never seen it, yeah. I made her say that I love you, but I never mean it, yeah. I'm gonna get with you, homie, don't care if it's over, yeah. Okay, I'm finna speak, I'm feeling don't care, the bitch with the mayor. Okay, I had to get away from niggas, cause niggas were really a hater. Okay, turn a bitch up, now we ain't a batter. Okay, 10 fours up and I order a platter. Okay, play my shit, but I move it faster. Told they had that I wanna rap, okay.
Welcome to the stream. We are in business for today, man. Didn't have any stream yesterday. I was really busy. I know I was supposed to be making videos every day, 2026. But we're gonna make up for that today, man. So yeah, let's get into these topics for today, man. This first topic we're gonna go into is the U.S. launches air defense operation cell in Qatar with the Gulf states. All right, so this first video is gonna be from Qatar's Ministry of Defense. Okay, just had to make sure we're in business.
East 050.
Okay, yeah, so it says Qatar's Ministry of Defense released a video on Monday highlighting the Gulf Shield 2026 exercise, which concluded on Friday in Saudi Arabia with Qatar's armed forces and other GCC member states. The video highlighted joint military training and operations aimed at boosting combat readiness, including tests and scenarios to evaluate responses to potential threats. The main goal of the exercise is to strengthen coordination, enhance security and stability in the Gulf, and promote integration within the GCC's flexible deterrent system. What I'm wondering is, if we do something to Iran, what is the GCC going to do? Because Saudi already came out and said they're not going to allow people to use their airspace if they want to go to war with Iran this time, which was not a problem, during the 12-day war. There was people using Saudi airspace, Iraqi airspace, whatever. It didn't matter. They were sending drones and rockets all through there, and they're shooting down Iranian drones and rockets. So Well, actually, I don't think Israel was sending rockets. I think they were doing bombings with planes. But let's get into this video. I can't see the full title, but it definitely says Saudi and Israel ties, and then it goes into this right here. The U.S. launches air defense operation cell in Qatar with Gulf states. But yeah, man, and these people are all like normalizing relations with Israel. They already are cool with the U.S. Are they really going to stick to their word and not allow them to go to war with Iran?
As world powers gather in Bahrain, the Gulf's defense future and America's posture in the region take center stage.
Assalamu alaikum is an Arabic greeting that literally translates to peace be upon you. Here from the Kingdom of Bahrain, from a region thriving for peace, welcome to this new episode of the Middle East Defense Digest. I'm Agnes. Hello Middle East, we're Chief for Breaking Defense, and we are covering the IISS Manama dialogue, where world leaders and officials are convening to discuss prospects of peace as well as security, not only in the Middle East and North Africa, but also in the European Union, NATO countries, and the United States. Topics are very diverse, from the security in the Gulf to maritime security and asymmetric threats to the US policy in the Levant, and even nuclear topics are discussed here in the summit. First, we turn to Bahraini defense expert Abdullah Al-Junaid for the Gulf perspective about collective GCC air defense.
Definitely after the Qatar attack, if we're going to address this point, definitely the GCC can develop an integrated, area defense system, multi-layered even. And they have all the components that could really complement each other in terms of threat identification or interception at all levels, sea, air, or space. Now, this definitely, from my point of view, is a high priority on the GCC defense agenda, and hopefully we will hear something more concrete about this issue soon.
For the diplomatic context behind the security talks, here is Hassan Al-Hassan from IISS.
I think that the question of Saudi normalization with Israel is still very much off the table for the time being. The Saudis have been extremely clear at multiple levels, including at the senior-most level. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, has stated repeatedly that Saudi Arabia expects an irreversible commitment and pathway to a Palestinian state, and a notion that the Israelis have categorically rejected until now. And so I think without a clear commitment to the Palestinian statehood and to the two-state solution, it's difficult to see how Saudi Arabia can reverse its very publicly stated position on this issue. The ceasefire in Gaza is still extremely shaky. So I think it's too early to speak of a potential Saudi-Israeli normalization agreement. And I think we'll have to see a more stable and a more positive political horizon for the Palestinians before that begins to change on the level of Saudi-Israeli normalization.
We have more recent...
That's good to hear. Sounds a lot better than the title. The title just says Saudi-Israeli ties or Saudi-Israel ties. Like, that didn't sound good, but to hear that they're not willing to formalize ties until the Palestine question is fully answered and establish a state, that's really good, man. So yeah, maybe they will stand firm on not allowing their airspace to be used if there is an attack on Iran.
Seen the US move some forces to Latin America, adding a new force posture considerations.
The way we understand the US's force posture in the region as being is essentially the US maintains somewhat of a lean and agile posture through CENTCOM, but is able to surge in capabilities, in assets, in manpower when it needs to do so. And so we've seen the US surge in capabilities over the past few months or so in response to escalations between Israel and Iran in particular. And so I think the new US approach is to maintain somewhat of a thinner, leaner presence with the ability to adapt to escalations and conflicts and geopolitical trends by rotating forces in and out of the region, using the wide network of bases and arrangements that the United States continues to have with many of its partners in the region. And so, in a sense, adapt a more agile, as the Americans would put it, approach to posturing and to force positioning in the region.
I want to ask about the NATO office in Kuwait. How does it enhance the security of the shipping lanes?
The Kuwait office, absolutely brilliant. We've got a great college there as well that is all centered around the Istanbul Cooperation Initiative. It offers many different and diverse courses and education in the name of our alliance, and we're superbly grateful. It's been one of the great success stories in the way that NATO has been able to demonstrate its partnering with this alliance.
Mr. Shipman have preceded me to the second question I was going to ask about the unmanned surface vessels, if they are already deployed in the Red Sea and the Arabian Gulf, and or underwater vessels. Thank you.
I mean, you almost answered your own question. I mean, there is just so much. And I would say that what we're learning is that redundancy in the way, particularly that cables are laid, is really important. So the ability to be able to reroute data almost in stride is extremely important. Internal surveillance of pipelines has become pretty trendy, and we've got some nations now that are able to do all of their surveillance and basically internal security through internal drones, if you will, that whiz up and down the pipelines. Of course, if you can put a drone inside a pipeline to inspect it, you can put a drone inside a pipeline to blow it up. So, and that provides you with a whole world of new problems. Acoustic sensing as well is one of the other big areas that is starting to give us indicators, whether through noise or indeed through very small changes in seabed activity.
One topic that stood out is that all US speakers, as well as Western speakers, have highlighted the importance of normalization between Israel and countries in the region. Even some called it as a normalization train ongoing, and called nations to jump in line with it. That's it from this episode of the Middle East Defense Digest. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be from Dubai.
Okay, so I guess, I mean, they spoke on the U.S. Presence in the Middle East, but they didn't really have any U.S. representatives speak. And I mean, I looked for videos on this. There is really no videos on this as of yet. So let's go into this right here, where Iran could strike U.S. military footprint in the Middle East. It's a quick video.
Tensions between Iran and the United States are once again rising, raising fears of a wider regional conflict. If war breaks out, American military bases across the Middle East could be among Iran's first targets. The US maintains tens of thousands of troops across the region to protect shipping routes, energy supplies, and allies. Many of these facilities sit well within range of Iranian missiles, drones, and proxy forces. Southwest of Doha lies Al Udeid Air Base, the largest US military installation in the Middle East. It hosts around 10,000 American troops and serves as the forward headquarters of US Central Command. From here, Washington coordinates air operations across the region, making it one of Iran's most valuable potential targets. Bahrain is home to the US Navy's Fifth Fleet, which oversees maritime security in the Persian Gulf and Red Sea. The base plays a key role in protecting oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point Iran has repeatedly threatened to close. Camp Arif-Jan functions as the logistical backbone of US ground forces in the Middle East. while further inland, it supports forward bases closer to Iran and could be hit through missile strikes or attacks by Iran-aligned militias. Near Abu Dhabi, Al Dhafra Air Base hosts advanced fighter jets and surveillance drones. The base supports US air superiority in the Gulf and is protected by missile defense systems, reflecting its strategic importance. Located south of Riyadh, Prince Sultan Air Base provides depth for US operations and houses key missile defense assets. It is central to countering Iranian drones and missiles aimed at Gulf infrastructure. Smaller US deployments in Iraq and Syria are among the most vulnerable. With limited defences, these bases face frequent attacks from Iran-backed groups and would likely be the first hit in any escalation. Incirlik Air Base remains a vital NATO hub, enabling US air operations from the north. Its strategic position allows American forces to flank Iranian defences, adding to Tehran's concerns. Together, these bases form the backbone of US military power in the Middle East, and in a conflict with Iran, they would be central to both deterrence and retaliation.
Okay, so that's all the places where Iran could strike, but seems like the U.S. is pretty stable in these areas. A strike actually hitting one of the bases is unlikely unless they make that their main focus.
A mayor has been assassinated in the Amhara region of Ethiopia. Porn groups are claiming that the mayor has been assassinated. Is it now confirmed or not? Secondly, Saudi Arabia is considering...
What is this? How does my guy have 95,000 subscribers looking like this? Bro, are we see... What? My guy has 95,000 subs looking like this, bro? What? Maybe those are botted subs because the views are not really reflecting it. Well, YouTube is rough, I guess, so you never know.
Why you should never charge your smartphone at night. 22 years as a cell phone.
God, bro, I need a video for this. Like, okay, this is annoying. Okay, let's go to the cradle because it said it finalizes the deal. Well, it's in quotes, but Saudi Arabia is finalizing a deal. The established what? Like what? I think they mean that establishes. Yeah, Saudi Arabia finalizing a deal that establishes a new military coalition with Somalia and Egypt aimed at countering UAE influence, informed sources told Bloomberg on January 16th. Somalian President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed will travel to Saudi Arabia soon to finalize the deal, which aims to foster more strategic collaboration on Red Sea security, as well as deeper military cooperation, the sources are quoted as saying. A spokesperson for the Somali government confirmed that the deal was in progress, but gave no further details. The Saudi and Egyptian governments did not respond to requests for comment. Friday's report comes from Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan. Friday's report comes as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan are closing to finalizing a trilateral defense agreement following nearly 1 year of negotiations. The draft defense deal builds on expanding Saudi-Pakistani military cooperation, including a mutual defense pact signed in September that treats an attack on one as an attack on both. Officials say the agreement remains a work in progress for the time being, with negotiations continuing behind closed doors. All regional countries must come together to create a cooperation platform on the issue of security. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said on Thursday, Mogadishu has also been engaged in recent talks with Turkey, which is planning its first deep water exploration project abroad in Somalia. So I don't know that we need to we could keep reading. Friday's report by Bloomberg comes days after Somalia canceled all agreements with the UAE. The move followed Abu Dhabi's extraction of its Yemeni proxy leader, Darius al-Zubadi, via Somalia's territory, including the breakaway state of Somaliland, which was recently recognized by Israel. Zubaidi, head of the UAE-backed Southern Transitional Council in Yemen, reportedly arrived in UAE on a flight from the Somali capital, Mogadishu, after first traveling to Somaliland by boat. Using Somalia's airspace, Somalia's airfields to smuggle a fugitive is not something that Somalia condones. Ali Omar, Somalia State Minister for Foreign Affairs, told Al Jazeera. He added that this was the last straw that prompted the severing of ties with Abu Dhabi. The Somali government's decision with annual deals with the UAE on port operations, security cooperation, and defense. Over recent weeks, a rift has been growing between Saudi Arabia and the UAE, particularly over Yemen, where the STC recently seized large swaths of the country's south with the aim of establishing a secessionist state. Oh, there's more. Saudi-backed forces recaptured most key cities and areas, yet tensions remain high. As a result, Abu Dhabi has withdrawn from the Saudi-led military coalition in Yemen and has declared an end to its mission in the country, whose islands and waterways it still continues to occupy. The new regional defense pact follows Israel's December decision to recognize Somaliland, making it the first country to do so. Somalia criticized, and most UN Security Council members, including Turkey, condemned the move. So basically, Somalia is looking to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia because they basically have beef with the UAE, and Somalia is, like they just said, that was their last straw with the UAE. They're doing a little bit too much. They are aiding and abetting their enemies, people of Somaliland, which is really unrecognized by everyone in the world except for Israel. And they're basically, and UAE is in cahoots with Israel. They're normalizing relations with them without the PQ being answered. And UAE helped somebody be smuggled through Somalia, and they weren't having that. Okay. We can move on to the next Middle East topic, which will be Hold on. Yeah, it's gonna be Lebanon. Lebanon. Hmm. "31 seconds, that's it." Come on, bro. This is related to the topic, but that's it.
قبلت بالشروط الإسرائيلية يلي هي تحت ضمانة دولية. هل
Okay, no thank you. Is there really no video for this one either? There's all these news reports with no video. Okay, I guess we'll read this one as well. 4 people accused of an alleged kidnapping in Lebanon for Israel's Mossad spy agency last month have been charged, a judicial official says, after a retired security officer whose brother was linked to an Israeli airman's disappearance went missing. Israel has apprehended suspects in Lebanon before, and Mossad is accused of regularly attempting to contact Lebanese people to facilitate its operations. While Lebanon has arrested dozens of people on suspicion of collaborating with Israel over the years, Lebanese authorities believe the agency, known for espionage operations outside of Israel's border, is behind the disappearance of a retired security officer, Ahmad Shakur, last month. Shakur, whose brother Hassan is suspected of involvement in the 1986 capture of Israeli Air Force navigator Ron Arad, disappeared in the Baqa region of eastern Lebanon. Authorities have arrested and charged 1 Lebanese man and charged 3 more who remain at large. The 4 are charged with communicating with and working for Mossad within Lebanon in exchange for money and carrying out the kidnapping of Ahmad Shakur, a judicial official tells AFP, on condition of anonymity. The 3 are a Lebanese woman, a Lebanese French man, and a Syrian Swedish man. The official said the Israeli airman Ron Arad, whose plane went down in southern Lebanon during the country's civil war between 1975 and 1990, is now presumed dead, and his remains were never returned. Hassan Shakur was killed in 1988 in the battle between Israeli forces and local fighters, including from The Iran-backed Hezbollah. Okay. A source close to the family told AFP last month, requesting anonymity. Bunch of anonymous reporting going on. Let's see. Mossad. Let's just type in Mossad on there. Got a lot of referrals about Mossad on here. A lot of references. Oh, come on, man. Telegram is moving slow. Is it just this one channel? No, it's all of them. Oh, wow. Okay, we'll do that later. Okay, there's not really anything on Telegram. Anyways, I mean, it's just a picture of the dude or one of the suspects. But basically, some people working for Mossad kidnapped a Lebanese official, and yeah, they're getting charged for it. So. And then they have ties to other things that happen between 75 and 90. All right, we are going to get into, okay, yeah, U.S. opens fast-tracked path. Okay. It's Lockheed Martin's Facebook. That's what they're referring to. This is referring to hypersonic missiles. Well, basically, I'll just explain it and put it in perspective, right? So Iran were using those hypersonic missiles. I don't think before this we had really any significant hypersonic missile program, because we just had things that, I guess, in the US government's mind were more powerful than that, and we didn't really need that. But then Iran uses all these hypersonic missiles against Israel in the 12-day war, and they're supposed to have this Iron Dome that is going to shoot down everything, and a bunch of the hypersonic missiles are getting through because the Iron Dome is no match for them. So, and they would basically send in drones or other missiles to, you know, get the Iron Dome to shoot off rockets, and then the hypersonic missile comes in, and its path is basically, you know, not really trackable. It's a very let's see. I'll try and pull up a video of hypersonic missiles. Okay, yeah, we could just look into this.
You know that big presentation you have to finish? Well,
hypersonic missiles are a challenging technology to master because they are so fast that if the US launched a Scramjet missile, it could reach China in just 18 minutes, traveling at speeds of Mach 5 and a
18 minutes. Wow. Okay.
Above. These Scramjet engines collect oxygen from the atmosphere as they travel, mixing it with hydrogen fuel to create the combustion needed for hypersonic flight. Meanwhile, glide hypersonic vehicles like the Chinese Dongfeng 17 became the first to integrate into production with conventional and nuclear warheads. They are also designed to target US aircraft carriers, as they can change their trajectory mid-flight. This US Aero AGM hypersonic weapon is a missile within a missile which pops out its cover and uses only the glide vehicle kinetic energy as a weapon. And not to forget the Russian hypersonic missile like the Kinzhal. More details all in the video ahead. To qualify as a hypersonic missile, it must possess 3 key attributes: speed, maneuverability, and accuracy. Let's look at speed. As we all know, Mach 1 represents the speed of sound, which serves as our benchmark. To better understand this, let's make a few comparisons. Commercial airliners, for example, fly subsonically, just below Mach 1. In contrast, modern fighter jets can travel supersonically, reaching speeds of Mach 2 or 3. When we refer to hypersonic speeds, we're talking about anything Mach 5 and above. Space shuttles are an example of vehicles that travel hypersonically, often reaching speeds between Mach 20 and 24. But these can travel only for short distances at this speed. To sum it up, a hypersonic missile should cross Mach 25, which is around 19,000 miles per hour. But wait, that's not it. Hypersonic missiles should also have the capability of covering vast distances, such as from New York to Russia or from China to Texas and vice versa. There are 3 types of hypersonic missiles. The Scramjet air-breathing missile from America. Then comes the glide hypersonic missiles like the Chinese DF-17 and the American Arrow in full-form air-launched rapid response weapon. Finally, we have the Russian tried and tested Kinzhal missile. Let's take a look at the difference between a ramjet and a scramjet missile in a
They're not mentioning any of the Iranian missiles.
super simplified animation. A good example of the ramjet engine is this BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. The ramjet's intake takes in high-pressure air from the region in front of a high-speed object moving through the air. The intake slows the air to subsonic speed, increasing its pressure and temperature. In the combustion chamber, fuel is mixed with the compressed air and ignited, causing it to rapidly expand. This high-pressure, high-temperature exhaust gas is expelled through the nozzle, providing propulsion for the vehicle. Let's take a look at how a scramjet engine works. Step 1. The engine draws in an immense volume of air at extremely high speeds. The air intake is a critical step as it ensures that the scramjet engine has the necessary oxygen supply for combustion at hypersonic velocities. In Step 2 phase, the fuel is injected into the engine and plays a dual role. Not only does it serve as the propellant, but also cools the engine walls. This cooling process is essential to prevent the engine components from overheating due to the intense friction and temperatures generated at hypersonic speeds. And Step 3, it is where combustion of the fuel and air mixture takes place. This is the most complex and critical part of the scramjet process. The challenge lies in maintaining stable combustion at speeds where the airflow can exceed 19,000 miles per hour. Engineering this step requires a deep understanding of aerodynamics, thermodynamics, and fluid dynamics to ensure that the fuel continues to burn effectively under such extreme conditions. Finally, at Step 4, the energized high-temperature gases produced during combustion are then fed through the injectors. These gases are expelled at high velocities through the exhaust, generating thrust. This process accelerates the vehicle to speeds of Mach 5 and beyond, propelling it into the realm of hypersonic travel. Let's take a look inside a hypersonic missile. At the front is the cone, which can also accommodate a small warhead if needed. Just behind it are the batteries required for the avionics equipment, which guide the missile to its designated target. As a hypersonic missile, it still requires a fuel system to inject the right amount of hydrogen, which is stored in this tank here.
See, I don't like the ones that we have in America, it doesn't look like it can fit a nuclear warhead, and the Chinese ones can. And I mean, this is a year old, so maybe the production that they're ramping up right now includes that.
Moving further back, we have the nozzle and adapter. Finally, we have the booster. Interestingly, this is a modified ATACMS supersonic missile. This missile has been used on the MLRS platform and can reach speeds of up to Mach 1. When it reaches a certain altitude, the missile separates from the booster, allowing it to activate the scramjet engine to reach 5 times the speed of sound. Reports say that China has successfully launched the hypersonic glide vehicle, also called the Dongfeng 17 or East Wind in Chinese. The primary difference between the Chinese and American hypersonic missiles is that the American Arrow is launched from a Boeing B-52 as its primary transport, while the Chinese hypersonic missile is launched from a 5-axle transporter erector launcher, the WS-2500, produced by Wanshan. The DF-17 is a $120 million solid-fueled weapon, measures around 11 meters in length, and weighs around 15,000 kilograms. When compared to a person, it looks huge. Let's take a look at its parts and functions. The DF-17 has 2 stages. The first one has a standard ballistic booster, and the second stage contains a low-flying projectile. This is used for attacking a target following the first stage's ballistic re-entry. The booster is being borrowed from this DF-16, which again is a short-range ballistic missile. While at the top is this hypersonic glide vehicle, which can fly on a lower trajectory than intercontinental ballistic missiles, making them harder to intercept. Interestingly, China has also designed these weapons to destroy Western or US aircraft carriers apart from it carrying conventional and nuclear warhead. Let's take a look at how this works. When ready, the 10x10 heavy-duty military truck can turn the launcher to a 90-degree angle. At a press of a button, it will launch the solid-state's booster to a certain altitude. This booster will initiate separation and launch the glide vehicle, and will then drop to a very low altitude. But the difference is that this can fly close to land or sea. By doing this, it avoids being detected by radar. That's not it. It can also change its trajectory mid-air at a staggering speed of Mach 5. This can become a huge threat for a carrier strike group to detect and destroy this missile anything within a range of 2,500.
Okay, yeah, and I didn't hear them say that the American ones can do that. So I don't know that they can just change direction mid-flight. Hopefully they can, but if not, well, hopefully that's what they're trying to produce now. Because I think this is the reason why they're going into mass production of hypersonic missiles, because of China, Russia, and Iran having them and perfecting them, and quite frankly, just having better hypersonic missiles than we do. Their hypersonic missile programs are superior to ours in every way.
Kilometer, which translated to around 1,553 miles. Apart from the Russian Zircon hypersonic missile, which we haven't seen tested, let's take a look at the Kinzhal missile. As you can see, these are very similar. Some analysts believe they even share many components with the infamous Iskander land-based ballistic missiles. Comparing this to a person will help you understand its size, since it's really huge. Starting from the bottom, we have the ejection pod. The second section consists of steerable fins attached to these jet vanes. The third part of the missile is the rocket motor. This is the missile's guidance section. Finally, the last part is the warhead section, which weighs around 500 kilograms or 1,100 pounds. All of this engineering propels the missile to an astonishing terminal speed of Mach 12, which is approximately 14,700 kilometers per hour or 9,207 miles per hour. It is reported to have a range of 2,000 kilometers or 1,242 miles. Let's look at how this works. Step 1. The missile requires a platform, such as the MiG-31 Foxhound, which is a long-range supersonic interceptor. It can go up to a maximum speed of Mach 1.4 at low altitudes, which was the fastest in the 1980s. Step 2. The pilot releases the missile and the protective cap ejects at a safe distance. Step 3. After a few seconds, the missile's engines ignite, allowing it to accelerate to supersonic speeds. These can also be upgraded with a nuclear warhead, making it one of the most dangerous weapons on the battlefield. The American AGM, Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon Arrow, is a hypersonic missile developed by Lockheed Martin, with a price tag of $18 million and a program cost of $2.2 billion. It consists of two main components, a booster rocket and a glide vehicle, housed beneath a protective cover. Like the Chinese, this glide vehicle can hit speeds of around Mach 5 and above. Let's take a look at how this works. The B-52 bomber.
This seems like a hypersonic missile that can compete. The first one they showed from the US did not seem like it was any competition to these missiles we were just seeing.
Currently serves as the primary launch platform. It can carry around 4 missiles under each wing. When a target is identified, the B-52 flies approximately 3,000 miles towards the target. The missile is then dropped after a few seconds, and the booster engine is then activated, covering around a few hundred miles. The covers pop off, revealing a glide vehicle underneath this warhead. It then detaches unpowered and travels up to a speed of Mach 20, creating impact powerful to a bomb. After reaching a suitable altitude, the glide vehicle drops to a specific height, skimming the sea or land surface while changing directions to avoid any anti-air missile systems. This system was intended to target, destroy, or disable Russian and Chinese aircraft carriers. However, reports suggest that the $2 billion program was a failure, as unofficial testing and experimentation are ongoing at this moment.
What?
We also make original engineering content, so please subscribe.
Okay, well. Let's see. Maybe I don't have to go to Telegram.
Careful. Careful. Careful.
I was trying to find a video of the missile actually changing direction mid-flight. That's what I was really looking for. And this looks new, so AI Telly didn't have this design at all. This looks like a whole new thing. With the most advanced and expensive hypersonic missiles still waiting to be declared fully operational, the U.S. military is opening a second acquisition track for affordable mass production missiles. So we're a little behind everyone, but it looks like we now have the most advanced and expensive missiles. Okay. The multi-service advanced capability hypersonic accelerator program will select prototypes for air-to-air, air-to-ground, ground-to-ground, and ground-to-air missiles that have a path to mass production at an affordable price, according to briefing slides from January 8th webinar hosted by program officials for suppliers. The program creates a path for a group of new entrants, a group of new entrants into the hypersonic missile business to validate their designs in flight tests and potentially win production contracts. Castellion and Kratos Defense have proposed developing offensive missiles with hypersonic glide vehicles, explicitly offering the Pentagon a new option at a lower price point than the U.S. Army's Lockheed Martin long-range hypersonic weapon, known as Dark Eagle. So I think that was the last one we just viewed. Let's see real quick. Okay, yeah, so Dark Eagle, I'm pretty sure that was the last rocket we just saw. Yeah, that is the last one we just saw. And the U.S. Navy's identical conventional prompt strike missiles, LRHW, is expected to enter service a year late early this year. Okay. LRHW. Oh, so that's the one. Yeah, that's the thing they said they haven't perfected yet. And then they already have a cheaper option that's better. Other companies such as Australian-based Hypersonics have proposed scramjet-powered hypersonic cruise missiles. It was not immediately clear what options are available for near hypersonic and hypersonic air-to-air and ground-to-air missiles. The Mach XL program offers a fast-tracked other transaction agreement process for companies to demonstrate prototype systems. The process is managed by the S2 MARTS and overseen by Naval Forces Warfare Center Crane. The organizers already fielded a handful of new hypersonic systems to be used as test beds through the Mach TB program, including the Kratos pairing of the Zeus booster and Erinyes hypersonic glider. Okay, so it looks like that Lockheed, that video is from a year ago, and they still haven't even perfected that Lockheed missile. And I guess they are looking for cheaper options now. Yeah, so they're making cheaper options for mass production that are supposed to be better. So I guess that's what all the hype is about. Let me try and see. Hypersonic. Or matter of fact, let me just go on one of these channels. I'm gonna go to media. Let's just go back to June. God damn, it's a lot of videos. Okay, June. Oh my God, why are all the videos blurred? Actually, let's see something. Oh, I don't even have my screen up. Okay, that's perfect. I don't know why certain things are cool on Instagram, but they're not cool for YouTube. I swore I had video of this, bro. Like, what? I swear it was on here, bro. Definitely don't want to play that. YouTube is gonna probably flag that as propaganda.
Has China just tested a new hypersonic missile? Take a look at this climbing into the evening sky over northern China. The missile rises in a slow arc and suddenly a second stage motor kicks in and it accelerates towards the ground. Videos from multiple angles have appeared on Chinese social media site Weibo.
This is kind of similar to what I was referring to, but I mean, you can see that it changes direction. But like, bro, there's videos of the rocket just in the air, just changing direction multiple times. And it's just like leaving a huge trail in the sky. And like, bro, I've seen these videos. I swear I posted one before. Didn't see it. Oh, maybe I posted it on X. X is not even working on my desktop though. Yeah, X is not loading on the computer. I had to start the X stream from my phone. Oh my God, bro. Okay. Well, I don't have time for this. We'll have to check back for another time and see if we could show that on the stream. Okay, so the U.S. has conducted its first kinetic AI drone swarm on U.S. soil.
This $49 Japanese knife sharpener brings a dead kitchen knife back to life in seconds, and nobody believes it's real.
So we were setting up the EFP pack and C4, making sure all the pre-flights were correct.
That's good. Got battery check.
This technology is phenomenal. The leader drone will identify what needs to be hit, and then the 3 follower drones will then go in and attack.
3, 2, 1, pull.
9.
With the 3-to-1 concept, there's a leader drone as the brain, and then it's got its 3 followers that you can use as your munitions to send.
It's supposed to be exploding before they hit the tank.
It's like go from the Wright brothers to space in 60 years. The 4 drones are going to fly out about 4 kilometers. They're going to engage a 3-tank convoy. This technology is phenomenal. The leader drone will identify what needs to be hit, and then the 3 follower drones will then go in and attack.
Okay, this is kind of the same video, but you get the point. They have AI drone swarm program now because probably from stuff that's going on in Russia and Ukraine, honestly, and stuff that Israel is doing. What is it? Historic breakthrough. Historic breakthrough. Oops.
Lifelong self-learning, which is why this channel shares free, up-to-date.
Oh my God, bro. No, thank you, buddy.
A 4th-generation fast neutron molten salt design, built not only to generate power,
but to destroy more long-lived nuclear waste than it creates. No commercial reactor has ever done this before. It could change how the world deals with its most dangerous waste. Stellaria, the French startup behind the project, has raised 33 million euros, including 10 million from the France 2030 program. Using liquid fuel made from chloride salts, the reactor operates in a closed fuel cycle. It recycles and consumes its own fuel, while offering passive safety, low cost, and rapid scaling. If successful, it could run for over 20 years without refueling. Its energy density is 70 million times greater than lithium-ion batteries. One unit could power a city of 400,000 people, replacing coal and gas in energy-hungry industries. First fission is planned for 2029, with commercial deployment in 2035. 4 containment barriers, natural convection cooling, and isogeneration fuel sustainment are part of its design. Stellaria's mission is to deliver clean, resilient, and scalable nuclear power, and turn nuclear waste from a threat into a resource.
Yeah, so this can be game-changing for the future. I mean, this will be like a brand new energy source that will be great for a lot of countries. And yeah, that is just great. It says they raised 33 million euros. That's say about 38 million US dollars. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna need some more money than that. But hey, they're doing some great work. I think I've seen this before too. Do I have to log into a TikTok? No. Bro. Okay.
Thorium reactors work by dissolving thorium into liquid
Can you not
fluoride salt, which undergoes nuclear fission when bombarded with high-energy neutrons. The use of thorium instead of uranium offers several advantages. Thorium is cheaper, more abundant, and less used for nuclear weapons. Unlike uranium, thorium does not require water for cooling. The molten salt nuclear reactor is expected to be safer than traditional reactors, as the molten salt quickly solidifies when exposed to air, minimizing potential radiation leaks. The reactor aligns with China's goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2060. The country is the world's largest emitter of greenhouse gases, contributing 27% of the global total. China's pursuit of thorium reactors is at the forefront of global efforts. The country's investments in carbon-neutral technologies also extend to hydroelectric, solar, and wind power, but the country faces challenges from extreme weather events such as severe flooding. China revealed plans for an experimental nuclear reactor that could power the country for 20,000 years. The new reactor operates on liquid thorium.
Okay, so I guess that would be great too. A lot of revolutionizing going on. Should be great for everyone, right? Bring a lot of change to the world and energy and but is it gonna really go through, you know, because I think that will put a dent in the oil industry. I could be mistaken, but hey, I mean, it's definitely gonna be a game changer. Now, I pulled up that China video. We're getting into the transition from US to China. So, excuse me, sit up. There's no videos on this. Okay, there's literally no videos on this. But yeah, so the U.S. State Department in January 2026 approved a potential $1.5 billion military sale for equipment and services to help Peru modernize and relocate its main naval base in Callao, near a Chinese-operated point, addressing U.S. security concerns about China growing influence in the region, and strengthening ties with a key partner. The project aims to improve Peruvian naval logistics and security by moving operations closer to the commercial port, allowing for expansion while reducing civilian military conflicts at the existing base. So, I guess we're trying to get, the thing that I saw said for a naval base, this right here on Google AI and on Reuters and Bloomberg, no, not Bloomberg, but just on Reuters, it says sale of equipment. And then on Google, it says the same thing. But Bloomberg, Barron's, Defense Blog, they all say it approves a deal for a naval base. Okay, here's a video on it.
The U.S. House approved a potential $1.5 billion military sale to help design and build a new naval base in Peru. The facility will be less than 50 miles away from a House approval base in Peru. The facility will be less than 50 miles away from a Chinese-owned port. The State Department says the proposal is still under review and could require more negotiations. It added that the final deal could potentially be lower than $1.5 billion. Plans for U.S. support at the naval base in Peru date back to late 2024. The move comes amid Washington's concerns over China's $1.3 billion Chansay port. It's operated by Chinese state-owned Costco Shipping, which analysts say could one day host Chinese Navy vessels. So far, Peru has maintained friendly relations with both the U.S. and China. Washington is aiming to increase presence in the region to protect its national security. It recently designated Peru a major non-NATO ally and assigned a new ambassador to the country.
Granger knows that.
There you have it. They plan on trying to build a base for them and getting them equipment, getting their Navy up to speed, which would, I guess, thwart Chinese influence. Okay, so I guess this is the exact clip.
Well, that's okay. That's what he should be doing. I mean, it's a good thing for him to sign a trade deal. If you can get a deal with China, you should do that. Well, that's okay. That's what he should be doing.
So basically, the news headline I saw says Trump tells Canada to get a trade deal with China.
Let's now bring in CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham on this story as Canada and China sign a new trade agreement. Reactions, of course, coming here in Canada. But Eric, let's ask you about the reaction so far, if any, we've heard with this deal in Washington.
Oh, and they actually signed the deal. Wow, that was fast. We were just talking about this a couple of days ago. They're already doing a deal.
Well, look, the president's own Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and even one of his economic advisors, his closest economic advisors, Peter Navarro, they both recognize that Canada becoming more close to China is certainly going to have an impact on U.S.-Canada relations. However, President Donald Trump doesn't seem to either understand that or simply doesn't get it. And I think we have heard that over and over. In fact, just recently at a plant in Dearborn, Michigan.
I think he just doesn't care. It's not that he doesn't understand or doesn't get it. It sounds like he just doesn't care.
The president said that the United States doesn't need anything from Canada, and he said that Kuzma was irrelevant. And I think and as a result of that, we're seeing the prime minister engage in a number of trade deals and negotiations. Today it's China, tomorrow it will be Qatar. And so clearly what we're seeing now is the Canada is doing all it can under Mark Carney to lessen its dependence on the United States, particularly at a time when those Kuzma negotiations will begin in earnest in the spring, and it's looking more and more likely like President Donald Trump will walk away from that. I think what we're seeing here is Prime Minister Carney is hoping to actually have something in place so that if and when that deal comes to an end, Canada isn't left holding the bag.
How is this helping Donald Trump? Because the sense is it is because of Donald Trump, his policies, his hostile policies to his allies. He's pushing his allies towards China. Today it is Canada. Tomorrow it's going to be the UK.
That's right. And I think what we're seeing here is China is actually recognizing that this is becoming a boon to them. Countries.
I mean, I don't know how this is exactly Trump's fault in this situation. I've been having a lot of disagreements with what Trump is doing currently, but I don't think this is one of them. I mean, he's sanctioning Canada and putting pressure on them because of illegal immigrants coming in through the Canadian border. Also, the fentanyl comes in from the Canadian border. I don't think he's being as harsh as he should be. I think he should be even more harsh than he's being with this, because this is killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. I mean, since the beginning, it's potentially millions of Americans that have died since this whole fentanyl epidemic has started. So, I mean, he's putting the pressure on them and they're folding, and they're going to try and rebuild relations with China. Should Trump fold and be like, oh no, don't work with the Chinese, we'll give you some type of better deal, or we'll back off a little bit, we'll ease up on you? No, it's you put the pressure on even more. Now you want to go work with the adversary who's literally conducting this opium war against our country through proxies in your nation? Okay. Why would I let up at all on you?
That at one time had frozen them out. In fact, we know that there were massive tariffs on the Chinese EV market. Now that's a market that is open to China. I'm sure Doug Ford has something to say about that. And of course, that will certainly, I think, lead to some tensions between the prime minister and the premier. But nevertheless, what we're seeing here is as the president is walking away from tremendous opportunities and from alliances that have benefited the United States for decades, it is certainly working to China's advantage.
Okay, we'll leave it at that this morning. Eric Ham, CTV News, U.S.
As the Prime Minister takes off on a 4-day trip to China, Donald Trump reminded Canadians why, touring a Ford factory in the birthplace of the auto.
Make them here. And we don't need cars made in Mexico, cars made in Canada.
Death of the auto pact.
We don't need cars made in Canada. We don't need cars made in Mexico. We want to make them here. And that's what's happening. Everybody's moving here. From Canada, they're coming here.
Adding he doesn't care whether the free trade agreement with Canada continues.
It's irrelevant to me. Canada would love it. Canada wants it. They need it.
That imbalance is pushing Mark Carney to thaw relations with China, a country he once labeled Canada's biggest security threat. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson says China-Canada relations have been gradually improving since last year, but it's a delicate dance.
I'm very concerned, and so are my friends in Michigan concerned.
A key point of friction, trade and tariffs. Canada matched the U.S. in 2024, slapping a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. China hit back with levies on Canadian seafood, pork, and canola.
It's been very difficult. China is our second largest customer, and so they're very significant. We can't replace them very easily.
Any move to lift the EV tariffs now would put Canada out of sync with the U.S., and Ontario's premier says it could hurt Canadian auto jobs.
It would not be good for Ontario and Canada, and it sure the heck wouldn't be good for the U.S., and it wouldn't be good when it comes to negotiating with President Trump.
The MAGA movement already noticed the changing tone between China and Canada. Trump's co-campaign manager issued a warning, saying, prediction, this won't end well for Carney. Canadian officials say there could be some relief coming on Chinese tariffs, but they're unlikely to be resolved completely. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Let's see. Okay, so China has taken a massive leap in its underwater nuclear arsenal with a quieter engine, longer missile reach, and stealthier design. The new Type 096 submarine signals a major change in global naval dynamics. Oh my God, all these ads, bro. China has quietly unveiled the most ambitious upgrade yet to its undersea nuclear force. The Type 096 Tang-class ballistic missile submarine, revealed by state media on January 14th, could push the balance of power beneath the waves into new uncertain territory. With its larger displacement, quieter design, and longer-range missiles, the Tang-class marks a sharp break from China's earlier deterrent strategy. Okay, so let's see.
Since the Cold War,
if they just unveiled this in January, I'm not sure how this is from. I think this said it was from October or something like that. What does it say? Yeah, it says October 7th, 2025. I guess it was out already, but
global nuclear power has been determined not only by the number of warheads a country possesses, but also by its ability to ensure those weapons remain operational even if a first strike destroys a land base. This is where the Nuclear Submarine Ballistic Missile Carrier, SSBN, comes into play. This type of vessel is a country's ultimate insurance, the ultimate weapon that ensures a nuclear retaliation will always be available regardless of what happens on the surface. China, as a power challenging the United States' dominance in the Indo-Pacific, understands this well. After launching several Type 094 Jing-class submarines, Beijing is now preparing the Type 096, projected to be one of the most feared nuclear submarines in the world. With a combination of JL-3 intercontinental ballistic missiles, advanced acoustic stealth technology, and long-range patrol capabilities, The Type 096 is not just a technical upgrade, but a political statement that China is ready to establish itself as a maritime nuclear power on a par with the United States and Russia. The Type 094 nuclear submarine, which entered service in the early 2000s, provided China with the basic capability to conduct deep-sea nuclear patrols. However, from the outset, this vessel was considered a technological compromise, American. Intelligence reports stated that its noise level was comparable to that of a 1980s-era Soviet nuclear submarine, making it relatively easy to detect. Its JL-2 missile, while quite powerful, only had a range of around 7,000 to 8,000 kilometers. This meant that China had to send its submarines beyond its coastline to reach targets in the United States. This was extremely risky, given the heavily defended Pacific Ocean by the U.S. fleet. The Type 096 addressed these limitations. With its significantly larger size, longer endurance, and believed to be significantly lower noise levels, this vessel was expected to operate for longer periods undetected. Defense analysts even called the Type 096 a generational leap, a complete leap, not simply an upgrade from previous vessels. It was like a deep-sea monster capable of surviving for months underwater, always ready to launch a nuclear strike at any moment. A nuclear submarine is useless without weapons that can reach distant targets. This is where the JL-3, Juling 3, becomes key. This ballistic missile is estimated to have a range of up to 12,000 kilometers, making it capable of hitting targets across the Americas, and even from seas near the coast of China. Unlike the JL-2, the JL-3 is more than just a longer-range version. It is believed to feature MIRV, multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles. Technology, each missile can carry multiple nuclear warheads that can be redirected to different targets. With a capacity of around 8 to 10 warheads per missile, a single Type 096 submarine carrying 24 JL-3S could deliver over 200 nuclear warheads in a single salvo. In strategic doctrine, this number is not just a statistic, but a determining factor in the global balance of power. With the JL-3, China has the real capability to deliver a devastating counterstrike, making any enemy think twice before attempting a preemptive strike. The key to an SSBN isn't its speed or the number of missiles, but its ability to remain invisible. A nuclear submarine can carry hundreds of warheads, but its value is wasted if it's easily tracked and destroyed before it can launch its missiles. The Type 094 is often called too noisy. In contrast, the Type 096 is designed to match the standards of modern Russian Borei-class or American Ohio-class nuclear submarines. Some reports suggest it will use pump jet propulsion, a water jet propulsion system that is quieter than traditional propellers. Its hull is coated with sound-absorbing materials. Its nuclear reactor is more stable with minimal vibration, and its cooling system is designed to produce noise that can be detected by enemy sonar. With this technology, the Type 096 is projected to be able to disappear in the ocean, hiding at depths of thousands of meters without being easily detected. Even with America's anti-submarine fleet using P-8 Poseidon aircraft, Aegis destroyers, and a network of undersea sensors, finding the Type 096 will remain a very difficult task. China has long adhered to the doctrine of no first use, which states that it will not launch nuclear weapons first unless attacked. However, for this doctrine to be credible, Beijing needs a solid second strike capability. Without modern SSBNs, China's nuclear threat would be considered fragile, easily destroyed before it could be used. The Type 096 is the answer to that problem. Equipped with intercontinental range JL-3 missiles, these submarines can remain in the seas near Chinese territory and retain the capability to strike distant targets. This means that even if China's land-based nuclear bases are destroyed in a surprise attack, there is always an ultimate weapon lurking in the depths of the ocean to ensure a retaliatory strike. Furthermore, the existence of the Type 096 is also transforming global diplomacy. A country with modern SSBNs possesses not only military power but also political bargaining power. With these submarines, China can sit at the negotiating table on equal footing with the United States and Russia, rather than simply as a regional power. The emergence of the Type 096 will shake up security dynamics in the Indo-Pacific. The United States will undoubtedly increase undersea surveillance in the Western Pacific. Japan and South Korea, despite not possessing nuclear weapons of their own, will strengthen their anti-submarine fleets. India, China's strategic rival in Asia, is likely to accelerate development of the next-generation Arihant-class SSBN with more powerful missiles. In other words, the Type 096 is not only increasing China's power, but also accelerating an undersea arms race. Oceans previously considered neutral territory could become a submarine hunting ground, with increasingly sophisticated sensors, naval drones, and anti-submarine fleets. Even Russia, China's strategic ally, will be watching these developments. The more countries possess modern SSBNs, the more complex it becomes to maintain the global nuclear balance. The Type 096 nuclear submarine is the culmination of China's ambition to become a true maritime power, not just a land force expanding to sea. With its intercontinental range JL-3 missiles, stealth technology that makes it nearly impossible to track, and a vital role in second strike capability, this vessel is one of the most dangerous strategic weapons of the 21st century. However, there is a price to pay. The Type 096's presence will further escalate global competition, trigger an undersea arms race, and increase the risk of miscalculation in the Indo-Pacific region. The world may be made safer by deterrence, but on the other hand, one small mistake could ignite the flames of an unimaginable nuclear war. Ultimately, the Type 096 is more than just a submarine. It is a silent shadow constantly moving across the ocean, a symbol of power, intimidation, and a reminder that world peace today rests on the fear of nuclear war tomorrow.
So I guess that's it for that video. So yeah, this submarine is I guess great for China, but it's, yeah, I will have to go into another video and see what we have that compares. I don't have time for that right now, but yeah, it seems like this is their stealthiest, submarine yet, and it can basically hit us from anywhere in the world. Yeah, the ICBMs that it has are pretty powerful, and it can launch an attack from wherever it desires. So, and like I said in a previous video, these Chinese and Russian subs are constantly patrolling the globe, and there's many of them off the coasts of every city in America, every coastal city in America. So, and this has got to be just clickbait.
404 Marshall Moms 17023 Angels 8 button 15.
Oh yeah, what is this, a fucking game? Like, come on, bro. China is developing quantum
Imagine
weapons.
being able to build anything.
So they have developed over 10 quantum weapons.
Power is shifting. The global balance of power is shifting into the subatomic realm. Beijing is no longer just raising conventional supremacy. It is weaponizing the fundamental laws of physics. The era of quantum warfare has arrived, and the rules of engagement are being rewritten in silence. Take a look at this next report for more details.
China is preparing for wars that have not yet been fought. Not with tanks alone, but with physics that bends the rules of reality. Quantum technology is moving from laboratories to battlefields, and the implications could change warfare forever. This is not science fiction, this is military planning. China's armed forces have confirmed they are developing a new class of weapons based on quantum technology systems designed not just to destroy, but to see, sense, and outthink adversaries before a shot is fired. According to official Chinese military publications, more than 10 experimental quantum cyber warfare tools are already under development, with several being tested in frontline missions. So what exactly is quantum technology? Quantum science deals with how matter and energy behave at the smallest possible scale, atoms and subatomic particles. At this level, particles can exist in multiple states at once, communicate instantly across distances, and behave in ways that defy classical physics. When harnessed, these properties allow computing, sensing, and communication at speeds and precision far beyond today's technology. Quantum tech could help radar that ignores traditional stealth coatings, effectively stripping the invisibility from most modern fighter jets. Again, quantum tech could also allow satellites to see through clouds, smoke, and camouflage with absolute clarity. If these systems go live, the traditional advantages of the West vanish instantly. However, there are limits. Quantum technology is in its nascent stage. It's expensive and difficult to deploy at scale. Many systems remain unstable outside controlled conditions. Even China admits much of this work is still in testing phases, but the direction is unmistakable. As global powers race to control the next military revolution, quantum technology is emerging as the new high ground. Invisible, complex, and potentially decisive. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
Okay, so I'm not sure how.
Moving on, the global balance of power is shifting into the subatomic realm. Moving on, the global balance of power is shifting into supremacy. It is weaponizing the fundamental laws of physics. The era of quantum warfare has arrived, and the rules of engagement are being rewritten in silence. Take a look.
It's the same clip.
China is preparing for wars that have not yet been fought. Not with tanks alone, but with physics that bends the rules of reality.
This is the same clip, and then it looks like they're just talking about Russia and China again. So, I have to go. I got things to do today. Busy as well. Maybe I'll spark up another stream later or something, possibly, potentially. But, that's going to be it for this one, man. So, yeah, China is always strengthening its arsenal, and so is the United States. So we're competing. I mean, we're basically in a Cold War with China and Russia. Not so much Russia right now, but Cold War with China, basically. It is an opium war being led on this country as well. We're trying to strengthen a bunch of things in the Western Hemisphere, and also strengthen our position in the Middle East. As you can see, other things going on in the Middle East with Saudi Arabia particularly. And yeah, that's it for this one, man. So Kumo DTV everywhere. Kumo Cast on YouTube. Go follow, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out of here.